loved ones and everyone else out there. So today is going to be a special day because I'm going to share with you a couple stories that inspired me to excel in certain things. The first one was a snowboarding story. And before I tell the snowboarding story, I have to let you know. So uh, I surfed for 20 years um, before the snowboarding experience happened. But in surfing, it was always my wave, my wave, my wave. I don't know, it seemed like a selfish thing that um, I guess a lot of surfers get in that kind of mind frame or mindset that that they think that every wave that comes their way is their wave. But anyway, so I started snowboarding in around '92, and started off on the East Coast, and then we moved to Texas, and I got to go to the West Coast and snowboard the West Coast. But our first year to a big resort out west, it was actually Colorado Midwest, and the resort was called Breckenridge Ski Resort. And Breckenridge is like 5 different mountains combined together to make one awesome ski resort. The trails are wide. When there's snow there, it's an amazing experience for families and friends and everybody that you could want to bring along with you on a snowboard trip. But anyway, what happened was about after the third day of snowboarding, I got to the top of the mountain kind of early in the morning still, I think. And it was a run that had a bunch of like triple black diamonds and double black diamonds and a couple single black diamonds, but it was pretty steep stuff. And I remember sitting on the top of the mountain and saying to myself, "Wow, this is really cool. This is such a honor to be here, an honor to experience and ride these uh, trails like I have." So I kind of had this aha moment, and I sat down and on a bench, and I said a little prayer. And I said, "Hey God, why don't you use my body? I'll just sit back and be a witness, and you take over, and you ride the mountain, and I'll just be the passenger and watch what goes on." So with that in mind, I buckled up my bindings, threw my hat on, put my goggles on, took a deep breath, and just kind of like stood back and became the watcher. And as I did this, something miraculous happened. It felt like a presence came over me, and that I launched down the mountain. And I swear I'd never gone that fast in my life. I was just flying down this mountain, just going super fast and hitting all these little jumps and everything. And then about halfway down the mountain, there's this like 20-foot kicker jump, and I hit it real fast, and my hat flew off, and I stomped the landing, and I just kept riding all the way down. I didn't even care about picking up the hat, but I just kept flying down the mountain all the way down to the bottom. And I got to the bottom of the mountain, and I was like, "Whoa, what just happened?" I mean, my God, that was just an amazing experience. Uh, it just took my breath away, and it made me realize that there is something else out there. There is something more to life, and when you give God that chance to experience life through you, then you realize why we're here on this planet, because we are God's eyes, we are God's ears, and God's hands. We're extensions. Each one of us is an extension of godliness. But I got my ass handed to me a couple weeks after that. So we got done with our Breckenridge trip, and then I think about a month later, we decided to go to Ski Santa Fe. And when we went to Ski Santa Fe, I kind of did the same thing. I got to the top of the mountain early in the morning, and I was like, why don't you, God, take control, and I'll just be the co-pilot. I'll just sit back, and you use my body and have fun like we did in Colorado. And so I buckled up my bindings, threw my hat on, put my goggles on, and decided to launch down the mountain. I went about 20 feet, and I fell right on my face. I had snow got stuffed up in my nostrils, and I was just like, what the hell just happened? I was like, God, don't you want to ride like we did in Colorado? And this whole experience made me realize, not right away, I didn't quite understand it at first, but God doesn't like to do repeats. God has never made the same person twice. He doesn't like doing things twice. He wants it to be a new experience every single time. And I realized this, and then by that realization of never wanting to repeat it, I mean, it doesn't mean you can't invite God into your life and say, "Hey, God, let's ride this together." Practicing your awareness and being a step back from what you're doing. No, it doesn't mean that at all. Uh, it can be a new experience every single time, because no two waves are the same. No two trails that you're going to ride down will ever be the same conditions. Everything's always going to be different. So never expect to repeat anything in life. And that's kind of a Zen teaching, that everything, it has to be uh, new and have a newness to it. So anyway, that was the start of it, and then I incorporated it into my surfing, and I started giving up waves to God, and um, sharing this aloha with my maker. And it kind of changed my surfing, and it definitely changed my aspect towards surfing. I think I grew up a lot in those times, and matured as a surfer and matured as a snowboarder. And then the next story I have to share with you is a real quick one. So around 2003, my ex asked me, at the time she wasn't my ex, but Maria said to me, "Hey, you want to go skydiving for your birthday?" And I'm like, "What? Oh, heck yeah! I would love to go skydiving for my birthday." So I gathered up enough courage to make a reservation out at Skydive Suffolk, and went out on a Saturday, and uh, basically I took the day course where they teach you everything on land, how the parachute works, which handles to pull, and what to look for when the parachute comes out above you, and they teach you all the stuff that you need to survive on the ground, and all the conditions that could basically happen to you in the air. And they did a great job of covering it. And what they told me was that when you get in a pinch skydiving, the ability to think your way through it can save your life. So skydiving is all about thinking. And I'm like, okay. With that in mind, I became a newly licensed skydiver, and it was weird. It was like blinders were on me when I'm just trying to use my mind. I mean, it was like I had this like tunnel vision, and it was dangerous. I was dangerous to other people in the sky, and I I got reprimanded one time, getting too close to another skydiver because I didn't see him. And I said to myself, it's like, hold on a minute. So you do it in your snowboarding, and you do it in your surfing. You practice this awareness. Why aren't you practicing your awareness in the sky? Why aren't you sharing your love for the sky with God? And I was like, okay. So the next jump, I just took a Zen moment. I closed my eyes and just took a deep breath, and just sat in a moment of silence, and just calmly just stayed there in that silence. And then I said a prayer to God. I said, okay, God, we're going to do this skydive. I want you to be with me. I want you to experience it with me, and do it together. And it'll be us. And anyway, so I got up in the air, and with that in mind, I jumped, and I swear it was like the blinders were taken off. I had full peripheral vision. I could, not only could I think, but I also had this like not heavy, but unloading burden of stress taken off of me, because now I could see and I could be aware of everything, all my surroundings. And I mean, doing things with your mind is great, but it's stressful to a point. Um, the mind, hold on, I'm going to pause this for a second. And I'm back. Sorry about that. The CD was skipping. So your mind basically is like a tightrope, and it's stretched between two ends real tight all the time. And this string, this tightrope that's always has tension on it, never gets any release from the tension until you start meditating. I mean, you could drink alcohol or do illicit drugs or things like that, and that definitely takes the tension off the mind. But then there's a price to pay. Then there's uh, all kinds of side effects and just bad karma that comes along with doing those kind of things. So better than getting drunk and trying to release stress off the mind, try meditating. 5, 10, 15 minutes a day definitely can help. And it will release the tension of the mind so that later on, when you need to use the mind, it'll be sharp, aware, and focused. See, you're supposed to be the master, and your mind is supposed to be your slave. It's supposed to do as you say, and your consciousness becomes the master. And I know that kind of sounds half backwards. It's like, well, how do you use your consciousness? Well, your consciousness is actually faster than your mind. When I studied Aikido, I learned about the samurai masters, and they would move faster than they could think. And the samurai that actually thought about what he was supposed to do to defend himself usually was killed because he couldn't move fast enough because his mind was too slow. So these are all lessons that I've learned in life through different things I've done and experienced in life. And I hope they can help change y'all's lives. I'm not saying you have to jump out of a plane to experience God, but I will say this: it is one of the closest experiences to divineness that you can experience on this earth, and that is a skydive, especially a full one all the way up to altitude. And even if you do a tandem at first, um, a tandem is a good thing to do in the beginning. I didn't do a tandem in the beginning, but they strapped a radio to my chest. And when I opened my parachute on my first jump, I didn't see the airport. I was like, "Where's the airport? Where's the airport?" And they shouted over the radio, "Hey, Doug, turn left, turn left, turn left." So I made a couple left-hand turns, and all of a sudden, now I can see the airport. I was flying away from the airport, and I didn't even know it because I didn't know which direction to look. I didn't have that orientation yet. I guess it's kind of hard to instill all those kind of things into a very first jump for a student. But I wouldn't say I was the best student. I think that once I got my license and once I started practicing awareness in my jumping, then I became a pretty good skydiver. And I still skydive to this day. I just really enjoyed the art form of it. I love the experience, the joy, the awareness, the closeness to God. I love it all, and I'll just probably keep jumping until I get seriously hurt or something, and then I'll think about whether I want to keep doing it or not. I did have a close call one time. I've only had to pull my reserve one time in like 15 years of jumping. I've only had to pull my reserve one time. And what it was I was demoing a parachute for a parachute manufacturer who I wanted to try their parachute because I was at the time I was interested in buying one. So I had him put the parachute on my rig, and I took it up for a jump, and I asked them, hey, can I go to full altitude with this? And they're like, oh yeah, no problem. You can go to full altitude. So my plan was just to pull high, pull at 5,000 feet and play around on this rental, well, not rental, but this borrowed parachute. So I got up to altitude. I had an uneventful jump, and I pulled at 5,000 feet, and I saw it on a video not but 2 weeks before my jump, where a girl went into a spin, and she was the parachute's going like this, and just taking her around and around and around, and it was spinning her out of control. And you can get very dizzy and disoriented really fast doing that. So I saw that started happening to me. I had a line over and a line twist. So I had a double malfunction with my main parachute. It was not flyable. So I went through my procedures. I cut away, and then I deployed my reserve, and my reserve opened up on top of me, but I was still in a spin. So the lines twisted up like 10 times. I mean, that was severe line twist. So I had a double malfunction. And I knew that if I didn't fix it, that I was probably going to get hurt pretty bad. So I fought it, and I kicked out the line twist. It's like being in a swing. You can pull apart the chains of the swing, and kick in the opposite direction, and you'll untwist yourself from your line twist. So anyway, yeah. So I'm up there, not really panicking, but just thinking, oh crap, gotta get this fixed. And I finally untwisted all the line twists. I looked at my altimeter, and I was still at 2,000 feet. So I had plenty enough time to make a pattern and get back to the airport and land safely. So that was my only double malfunction. And I hope it's maybe my last. I don't mind malfunctions, but double malfunctions are very scary. It is a dangerous thing we do, but everything in life is dangerous. Everything that has a glory to it basically is kind of dangerous. But there are simple things in life that you can do, just like riding a bicycle. It can give you the same joy and same experience if you do it right. If you invite awareness onto this bicycle ride, and you bring in awareness to watching everything, and just being conscious and in the present moment. See, if to be in the present moment, to be in this state of awareness, you can't be pulled into the future, and you can't be pulled into the past. You have to live 100% in the present moment, aware and conscious in that moment. And that's when the magic happens in life. And that's when the mysteries change and start changing your lives. Anyway, those are my stories for today. I appreciate you guys for listening, and much love and aloha to all you beautiful people. And look forward to the next stream. Take care of yourselves. Aloha and adios, amigos, and blue skies to all you skydivers.